Good morning. I am pulling out. Ooh, the camera shifted. We are headed, Lindsay and I, to the farmer's market in Franklin. We're so excited. Today it's the first time we've been. I haven't been in the farmer's market. We didn't go last year at all. So it's been a minute since I've been to like a bigger farmer's market. So first of all, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why even go to the farmer's market. What's the big deal? So if you go to the farmer's market, you're gonna get fresh grown produce from small farms. Even if they're not organic farms, often the farmer's market will have people that are small growers and they are really practicing more sustainable practices, especially with their soil and soil conservation and things like that. So I do suggest you still kind of look into them when you go. I always research, and there is a farm that sets up at the farmer's market here that is organic. They're certified, so I often try to buy vegetables from them. It's pretty reliable at the farmer's market that you can get better quality. It's usually a little cheaper. Your prices there are usually a little cheaper. There's a little competition in the area because you've got several farmers set up in one spot, so that creates a good price point most of the time. And the Franklin Farmers Market has a ton of variety. So they have meats, they have vegetables, they have homemade foods and canned items if you're into that. So if you go to a bigger city, you can often get more variety. Now I'm gonna say this, like even where we live is out and it's rural, but there are farmers markets in the smaller cities around us. So you know, I don't have to get up and drive an hour or so to get to a farmer's market, and you probably don't either. So I really encourage you to check it out in your area. So I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna have a really detailed blog post about why to shop at the farmer's market. If you guys wanna check that out, it'll be a little more detailed, and my thoughts on that will be a little more organized. So there'll be lots of reasons why it's important. I love to support the local businesses as well. That's a big one. So check out your local farmer's market. So this morning, as we drove up, I decided I wanted to do a little bit of a vlog style today. So we're gonna show you snips from the farmer's market. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about maybe my plans and where things are going with this channel. So up till now, about the past 6 months, I felt really invested in the health coaching program I had done and the fact that I wanted to share a lot of the knowledge that I had learned in that program. I felt compelled to share because I knew a lot of my friends and family watched the channel, and I wanted them to see, you know, kind of give them an overview of the things I had learned and hopefully encourage them into some better, or education, I guess. I shouldn't say better, education to help them make the healthiest choices they can for themselves. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I have spent the time and invested the time to film those videos to try to provide that education. But I'm gonna be honest, I feel like as a whole, the channel has kind of taken a little bit of a downturn for me. I'm very passionate about nutrition and about sharing things like that, but I feel like it got a little lost. So I am ready to start filming some videos and things that are just a little more lighthearted and fun, more lifestyle things, and that's where the channel's gonna be going from here. I still wanna share tidbits and knowledge as a physical therapist. I have some videos I wanna share about exercise and stretching on down the line. I, you know, have some ideas that revolve around that part of my life. And I'll still share nutritional videos, but it's not gonna just be the only thing I film. I'm gonna share with you skincare and routines and things that I'm doing that make me feel good. And I feel like that's gonna take this channel back into a direction where I feel more excited about it. So, with that being said, let's talk about health coaching. So, in case you guys didn't know, we had a pandemic. Like, I'm sure you knew that. As a healthcare professional during a pandemic, I can't even describe to you where I was. Professionally, I wasn't even sure if I would have a job because, you know, people were getting laid off, and I don't know, things were just in a very negative place in my mind. I became probably depressed, I guess would be a good description. I began having anxiety like I've never had before in my life. And through that process, of course, I'm still listening to my podcast, and I decided that maybe it was time for a change in my career. And I pursued the health coaching certification from the Integrated Institute of Nutrition, IIN. And I can say great things about them. Their program was good. The courses that I took were good. They provided me with a 360-degree perspective. So they would have people on there that were totally opposite of what I believe. But they were trying to challenge you to develop your own thoughts and ideas, which I appreciate. They didn't tell us what to think about anything. They allowed you to listen and kind of develop your own ideas and convictions about all the subjects, which was awesome. So I completed that in 6 months with the intention of either launching my own business or finding a job, which for me was probably more the latter, because I need health insurance, and you know, as a small business owner, health insurance is super expensive. So I was going to need to find an actual 9-to-5 job doing health coaching. I wanted to get out of PT, and that's where I wanted to go with it. I'm going to be really transparent here. I feel like I was deceived a little bit because of this. It sounded like I would do this program, and by the time it was finished, I would have enough business that I would have that program paid for and I'd be on my way, and that is not true. Now, I did have some people in my coaching group that had already started having clients, but these are people in bigger cities that already worked in yoga studios or doctor's offices and had kind of, I mean, more or less, they were going back in order to get this certification to help them in the job they already had. And maybe if I lived in a bigger city, the opportunities would be different. I can't say that they wouldn't. But where I live, in a rural area, people don't even know what a health coach is, which is why I started my channel and went that direction, to educate people and to build a platform. And maybe change is just slow, and somewhere down the line I'll be able to use it, but there's no way for me to get a job as a health coach where I live at all. There's no opportunity, there's no job postings. So then I went virtual. I thought, well, maybe I'll just work remotely, because I was looking online. There were tons of remote jobs listed. I applied to several and never heard anything. So I don't know if, which I've never used Indeed and all those different hiring platforms online. And I think a lot of the postings on there were just people trying to help you start your own business. Let me put that in quotes. So you're going to invest your time and money on their platform to make them money. Anyway, it was almost like I wasn't sure it wasn't a hoax. The ones I did apply to, I never heard from. I never got an interview. I never had anybody acknowledge that I had applied. It was just very discouraging. So I don't know. I'm just saying, before you jump in, I think the market for health coaches may be a little more saturated at this point, because there's several programs that are out there that advertise, you know, to get the certification. Now I'm stuck, honestly, paying for something that I can't use really at this point. Now, I don't regret, let me say that differently. I sort of regret, because I could have probably gotten a lot of that same information just from continuing my podcast. Now, was it nice because it was all in a package and I got to listen to it all at once? Yes. But as far as it helping me with a change in my career, it was not helpful to me. So I want you guys, if you're considering anything like these certifications online, to go into it with your eyes open and really look around at the opportunities in your area, in that field, because they may not be there. And so now I'm just gonna have to pay the rest of what I owe on the program from my 9-to-5 job as a PT, which is fine, you know, it's fine. But I don't know that I recommend it, to be honest. So I just wanted to say that. I felt like I wanted to wrap that part of this channel up a little bit and just let you know kind of where I was at in that whole situation. Very positively, we're excited to be going to the farmer's market today, and we will be filming some clips while we're there. So we'll see you guys when we get to Franklin. we just left the farmer's market. It is getting nuts there. It opens at 8. It's now like an hour after they opened. So it's getting crazy. There's no parking. The police are directing traffic. It's just nuts. So I feel like I did really good. I got a good haul. Sorry guys, we're turning. Then we're gonna be on our right road. Lindsay's remembering from her.
And you'll turn left, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. So now we're headed to Sprouts just to pick up. I have several supplements I need this week. They had Propolis there, didn't they? Like, I'm thinking about what, we're trying to decide between Whole Foods and Sprouts, to be honest, but anyway, we're headed over there. I'm gonna do like a haul and show you guys what we actually got at the farmer's market. The produce looked really good. They have a farm there called Delvin Farm that is 100% organic. They're certified, and I usually try to buy things from them. Plus there was another farm that had really great looking lettuces and microgreens, so I got some stuff from them as well. They had like a local kombucha. They didn't have any flavors that we were too excited about, so we didn't end up getting that, but it was really cool. So I'll check back in with you guys as we head home. We might have to talk a little bit more, so we'll see you soon. Okay, so we're back from the farmer's market, and we stopped by Sprouts to finish up things like milk and stuff that we couldn't necessarily get there. So I'm going to do just a whole haul today of all the things that we picked up at Sprouts and the farmer's market. So first, we're going to talk about Sprouts. So I hadn't been to Sprouts in a while. We've been going to Whole Foods, so I'm kind of excited about some of the things. One of which is this chicken. I love their barbecue seasoned chicken. They're rotisserie chickens. They're really good and they're handy, so I grabbed one of those to have for the weekend. Onions. So these are really good. My daughter got me on these. The Reed's like a ginger ale kind of thing. They're like a crafted ginger, they call it beer. It's non-alcoholic, but anyway, tried hers last week. They're really good, so I grabbed some of those. A milk for my husband. Got a whole gob of bananas. A whole bunch of bananas because we're completely out. I'll let these ripen up and then break them into pieces to freeze for smoothies. So this is a really good little creamer. It's called Sweet and Creamy, but I love to put it in my Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee that I make iced for this time of year. I got a pasta, a green lentil penne, so we'll have a pasta salad probably. And then vitamin waters. They don't have the Gatorades at Sprouts. I usually get them at Whole Foods. My husband does Gatorade a lot in the summer because he's outside a lot, so we did some vitamin waters instead. Got some butter, so we're out of that. Now, I'm into kombucha. At first, I could not stand it, so it's really funny. Mighty Mermaid had a new adaptogenic, they call it Adapt Tonic. It's an adaptogen. So this has got chamomile and lime, so I'm anxious to try that. I usually do one of these a week. I don't overdo it. And then I love this, the Lion's Root, the Mighty Mermaid kombucha, really good. I'm completely off of regular coffee. We're finishing up some we had in the freezer, so I'm doing like a half and half right now, but I'm only buying decaf now. So this was a really good brand that I only could get at Sprouts. It's a Solar Roast coffee. One thing that I was instructed that I wouldn't have known by my health coach was to make sure that if you buy decaf, it's the water processed. So if you're not careful, some decafs are chemically processed in order to become decaffeinated. But there is a Swiss water processing, and that's the one that's natural, and it's better. So you always want to make sure of that, because if you're doing decaf, I don't want to give up good coffee and then end up with something worse. This is one of my absolute favorites, the Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee. It's with lion's mane. It's a dark roast. So what this does for me is I'll have it in the mornings if I'm going to have a really busy day or I've got a lot of meetings to prepare for. I will, especially if I'm going in at 7. I've been going in at 7 some for work. This just kind of gives me a little boost of energy. I just can't describe it. It clears my mind a little bit. It helps me to focus. So I really love it. I would highly recommend it. What I do with this, I keep it in the freezer. It lasts for several, gosh, I had that other one for like 6 months and it stayed in the freezer. I do it in a French press and it's really good. I'll have to show you my morning iced coffee sometime. And then just some dishwashing liquid. Okay, they have the best sushi there. So we're going to have like a Chinese type meal tonight. So we got some sushi. This is the Southern Charm Roll. They didn't have a lot ready, so we just kind of had to take what they had. This is shrimp. They all may all be shrimp. This was crab. So just a little, they're just a little different, but we're gonna have these tonight with our meal. And then, of course, pasture-raised eggs. We eat a lot of those. And then I grabbed some Brussels sprouts because that was something that I couldn't get at the farmer's market. I really love Brussels sprouts, and I may do something for my lunch, or they're really easy to roast in the oven for supper. So I needed several supplements. So I got my turmeric, which I was out of. I had one this week. So I really like the Garden of Life one. It's got multiple things in there besides just turmeric to help with inflammation. I think it helps. I got some cramp bark. If you guys haven't tried this stuff, thebomb.com. So my youngest daughter had been using that for menstrual cramps. And I come in one day with a terrible headache, neck killing me. This stuff is so awesome. It really does help to give you some relaxation if you're having tense muscles. So I picked up some for myself and they were on sale, so I grabbed 2. So got that. I replaced my ashwagandha, which I take every day just for anxiety, mental stability, I guess. And propolis. So I have been using this religiously now for over a year. I try to do a couple of sprays in the morning, a couple of sprays it before I go to bed. It helps me with drainage and anything I have sinus wise, which I don't have a lot of trouble with that if my diet's on point. Also, I'm a healthcare worker, so I feel like my immune system needs to be up. So I feel like that I don't want to switch from that. We also got some bug spray. It's a natural brand from Badger. So we're having some trouble here with mosquitoes and things, and I love to sit out on the deck at night to eat. So we wanted something that we could spray on in addition to the little candles that we burn. So we got that. These were on sale, so I grabbed a black bean and a garbanzo bean. They were 99 cents. And more kombucha. So I've not ever tried Dr. Brew Doctor. This one's called Clear Mind. It is a rosemary mint sage green tea, so I'm excited about that one. This is my all-time favorite, Health Aid Kombucha, and it's tropical punch. I absolutely adore that one, so I'll have it. I'll save it for later. So in June, we're going to be going to a kombucha class, and I'll update you guys on that. But it is quite expensive to buy kombucha if you haven't bought any. And we're going to go, me and the girls, and learn how to make our own. And in the class, you'll get a kit to get you started. So I'm super excited about that. I am slightly obsessed with Ripple. If you look in my fridge, this will make like 4 or 5 because sometimes you can't get it. And it's my absolute favorite creamer. It's an alternative dairy-free creamer, half and half, but I absolutely love it. So they actually had it today. These were good last week. I had them with like some lunch meat and cheese one day, and they're gluten-free. They were really good. They're the everything seasoning. I got honey and some, in the bulk section, some lavender flowers. We're going to try to do some infused honey for tea. So we're going to try that. And I also, for a treat, will put a little bit of honey in my coffee sometimes. So I do use quite a bit of honey. And that kind of winds up the sprouts part of the haul. So the next part we'll be getting into what we found at the farmer's market. He's listening so intently. The dog is like all enthralled. He thinks he's going to get a bite of something. No, that's probably why. Alright, so we come across this really cool stand at the farmer's market of mushrooms. It's called Possum Bottom Farms. What we wanted to do is she had a ton of different varieties, and we wanted just to do try a little bit of each one to see which ones we like best. So all of these over here, except for this one is called chestnut. And that, I think they said that was a log grown mushroom. They were over on the side where the log grown was. This is oyster. All of these are varieties. Like there's a golden oyster, just different varieties of oyster mushrooms. This right here is a shiitake. It was also a log grown mushroom. And then the lion's mane. I think it is the coolest thing ever. I don't want it to break. But check that dude out. So cool. And they're really good. And so my coffee that I love has lion's mane. So they're really good for your brain health and like concentration and things like that. Mushrooms have so many health benefits. I mean, I can't even tell you and go into all that. But they're super healthy for us. And they add a great flavor profile to anything that you want to make. So love these. We're going to really get on top of it and get these fixed so that they don't spoil. Okay, so also there's a farmer called the Delvin Farms, and they are certified organic. So all of this didn't come from them, but I got sweet potatoes, a whole bag. Like that bag was $5, which is really a good little deal. I got some red kale. I got zucchini squash. I got a cabbage from them. And then there was a really cool called Rose Creek Farms. They had all kinds of greens and microgreens. So I grabbed a bag of spinach, some green leaf, and butter lettuce. And then we were so excited. There is some cheeses we've been getting at Whole Foods from Noble Springs Dairy. It is a goat cheese. And I'm trying to limit my dairy, so I do love cheese and I love being able to use the cheese. It's a little stronger flavor on some of it, so this one may be a little strong. It's kind of like a crumbled cheese, but this is a white cheddar goat cheese. It looks really good. So they were there, set up, and we grabbed some of those. From the Rose Creek Farms, and I was going to ask my husband, this is called an Italian sweet pepper. It looks, I hope it's not hot. It said sweet. To me, sweet does not mean hot. But it sounded really good. It said you could use it in a whole variety of applications, kind of like a bell pepper, I think. So I'm anxious to try this and see if there's any difference in the taste. It looked really cool, so I grabbed one of those. Okay, so finishing up the farmer's market haul, I got, of course, the biggest Napa they had. This guy had the same guy that had the strawberries, which they look really good, had like some Napa cabbage. They were huge, so $5. That's how much it was. And these are very expensive to buy in the grocery store. And then back at the Rose Creek Farms, I got some micro broccoli to have for salads. I'm eating a lot more salads since it's hot weather here. And then I grabbed a bunch of radishes because I love to add their little crunch. And this was the coolest cucumber. I can't really remember what it said it was. It's like a slicing cucumber, but it looks really good. I think it must be grown. They must have grown that there, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of these places are doing like hot house things because, of course, it's not growing season for us right now to have cucumbers, but a lot of the places did have some tomatoes and things like that I'm sure they've been growing in the hot houses. So finally, a couple other little things. I've been wanting to try a dryer ball. So I got this lady had the best smelling stand in the whole farmer's market. It was all lavender products. It smells divine. But she had pictures there. It was like wool that they have taken and made into these dryer balls. And it's supposed to make your clothes really soft and smell really fresh. And I'm all about that. Like changing to natural detergents, that's been the one thing that I've had a real problem with. It doesn't leave a good smell. I mean, it's clean, but I like for my clothes to have a nice smell to them. So I'm hoping this is going to enhance that a little bit. We'll see. And then the treat of the weekend, kettle corn. So I love kettle corn. There was a stand there with all different sizes to sell, and so we bought the kettle corn. And for about $75, I got tons of produce. I got some cheeses, the kettle corn, just all kinds of things. I feel like it's a really good value to take my money and spend at the farmer's market because I'm sure I spend at least that much on produce when I go to Whole Foods or Sprouts. I can shop here locally for produce, but they don't have the variety. So when you're trying to eat healthy, I need variety in my diet. I don't know about you guys. And what I absolutely love is like being able to grab a huge Napa cabbage and some different vegetables that I've not seen or tried before. And the microgreens are not something that I can easily access here around my home. So the farmer's market just gives you access to things that you might not be able to get like right, especially if you live rural like me. So that wraps up the haul for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.